Hello guys, Tops here. Today, how to build bros. And I think I want to make this video because we have a lot of newer players on the channel, and I generally want to talk about how do you build your bros, because I get these questions a lot, what kind of stats I'm looking for and stuff. And I think generally speaking, you want to build a brother around one of the weapon masteries, right? So you want to have a mace guy, and maybe a flail guy or hammer guy, stuff like that. Also, there are 3 different weapon types in the game. One-handed weapons, two-handed weapons, and ranged weapons. So you kind of want to decide what kind of weapon you want to use, if it's going to be a one-handed weapon, or a two-handed weapon, or a ranged weapon. And then usually you want to decide if you go Battleforge or Nimble with your brother. And that will determine how to build further more, right? What kind of stats you have to focus more on your brother, right? And yeah, generally speaking, if you want to make a melee guy, either with a one-handed weapon or a two-handed weapon, if he's gonna stay, you need high melee attack, right? As high as possible, if you can get there, right? And now you have to determine, is that brother gonna stay in the front line? So is he gonna take a hit? If that's what you want to do with him, he needs to have high melee defense. So if you find a brother who has high melee defense and high melee attack, you can make him into a frontliner, either one-handed or two-handed. If the brother does not have high melee defense, you have to consider him making him a backliner with a pole arm, for instance, like this, or the new Fame Flail, stuff like that. Or you have to give him a shield, right? That works too, because you need to have roughly like 30 plus melee defense in order to survive in the front lines, right? In order to not get hit a lot in the front lines. Having high armor is better than not having high armor, so Battleforge is nice, but Battleforge is much more stat intensive, right? You need to have expensive Battleforge gear, and you need to have a lot of fatigue, still enough HP and resolve, so it's hard to get there. The Nimble is always, you can always make a brother Nimble, so Nimble is kind of the default version. So I always would go for Battleforge if I can. If I can't, I make him Nimble. That's my question. Okay, let's see. Let's say we have a brother who doesn't have melee defense and he doesn't have melee skill, but he has range skill. Hey, nice. Now we have an archer, a crossbow, a gunner, a thrower. We have a range bro, basically. And the beauty about range bros is you only need range attack. The rest of the stats don't really matter, to a certain degree. And of course you need as much ranged skill as possible. And I want to go in, I think I can't do this in this video though. If in the following videos, I want to go deeper on how to build single bros. So how to build your range bros, your one-handed bros, your two-handed bros. And we also will go on the special builds, right? I try to make this more approachable for newer players who have the question a lot. If I recruited a bro like this, what am I going to do with that guy? And generally, if you have a new brother and you look at him, you want to have high melee skill, high range skill, or high range melee defense. This brother doesn't have anything of that. So what you're going to do with him? Nothing. He's just here for being sacrificed to Daddy Cool. This is our cultist run. Yeah, same with this guy. It's just, terrible melee skill. And yeah, defense is, it's not there. It's not good. But we have brothers here. It's like, hey, look at that. Triple star and max roll melee attack. Hey, that is a guy who has a lot of melee attack. But he does not have a lot of melee defense. So the second thing, if you look at melee attack is good. Is melee defense good? Yeah, not really. This is low. Then we go and look further. He has good trades, got 2 candles, so he has plus 10 resolve. Hit points, average. Fatigue is quite good, a little bit above average. Resolve, because of the trade, very good. So this guy, for instance, would be a guy where it's like, hey, this could be a nice polearm guy, you know, a nice sword lancer, somebody who stays in the back, in the backline and attacks, because he has very good attack. But as soon as he gets into melee, you know, he's not really somebody who can get surrounded by multiple opponents and is supposed to tank that, because his melee defense is just not high enough. 24 expected is not high enough. Yeah, so the average rolls for melee attack and defense is always 1 to 3 normally. But if you have triple stars in this, you can get a +4 in the roll. And basically, the average, if you have no stars, is on average you're going to roll a 2. So you will have +20 melee defense. So if you don't have stars in the stat, you can see, okay, I have 4 melee defense. If I level melee defense every single time I level up, I will get on average +20. Of course, you could low roll and end up with like, I don't know, 19. But you can also get a bunch of +3 rolls and end up with like 30. So if you're lucky, this bro might even transition into a frontliner, if you're really lucky. But that's kind of why you want to have stars. If you have 1 star in the skill, you cannot roll a 1. You will always roll at least a 2 or a 3. So if you have 2 stars in melee defense, for instance, you would have at least +25 melee defense on average. So with 1 star melee defense and a 4 base roll, 29 melee defense, that's almost good enough. So that's somebody who could get become a frontliner with veteran levels, or with gifted, for instance. So with more defense stats. And yeah, if you have 2 stars, you will always get 3 melee defense or melee attack. It's always a 3. And if you have 3 stars, you will always get a 3, sometimes even a 4. So if you have 3 stars, you will get +30. If you have 4 stars, you get +35 on average. Yeah, so these are kind of the stars. For range skill, it is, I think the main roll is 2 for range skill. Then there's the 3 and the 4. And if you have 3 stars, you can get a 5 also. So range skill is usually is a little bit more. You can get range skill easier, so to speak. So if you have somebody with like 3 stars range skill, he will always have +4 to 5. So he will have on average +45 range skill. The downside is you need a lot of range skill in order to make a brother work, depending on the weapon. I don't want to go into detail about that. We're going to do this in the next video. Okay, so this is kind of the thing. When it comes to HP, I like to have 85 with Colossus, the perk. So this one gives us +25% hit points. So 55 I would generally take Colossus and then take a couple of levels and then I get to like 85 HP. That's kind of like where I feel comfortable. Fatigue, depending on the weapon that we use, we want to have a lot of fatigue or it doesn't matter. So we don't need to level fatigue at all. Depends, right? If we have a lot of resolve, that's nice. But generally speaking, I play a lot with my banner in my company, and you will probably do the same. So resolve is usually, if you have 40 plus, that's okay, right? Always aim to go to like 40 resolve. If you can get to 50 is nice, but it's not necessary. Initiative is something you can completely ignore for the most part, unless you have a specific plan to level a lot of initiative and try to overwhelm your opponents by always going first, or try to get a lot of additional defense from dodge. But generally, initiative, unless you have a specific plan, can be completely avoided, especially for newer players. Doesn't matter for you, right? Same with range defense. I never level range defense unless it is negative. Negative range defense, and some bros can be recruited with negative range defense, Negative range defense basically means that your opponents get additional hit chance against you. So you want to have at least positive range defense. So the one brother who doesn't have high range defense is going to get focus fired. So if you put somebody with like -3 range defense in the front line, that bro will eat every single shot. And if everybody has like, I don't know, 2 and 3 melee range defense, the AI tends to shoot the center of the formation, but sometimes they shoot other bros too, so they don't generally focus fire the one bro a lot of the time, and arrows will scatter, and you know. So I always try to keep range defense above 0, but I tend to not level the stat at all. So you want to have enough HP. If you're a frontliner, I would say 85. If you're a backliner, you can get away with less, like 75 for instance. Fatigue, if you're battleforged, as much as possible. If you're nimble, as much as you need. Resolve, 40 plus, right? Melee attack, for a good attacker, somebody who hits very frequently his target, 90 is kind of what I aim for. 85 is okay, but like if you don't have 80 plus melee skill, it's, you know, it's probably not a good attacking bro. Same with melee defense, you want to have at least 30 plus for a frontliner. For a backliner, doesn't matter too much. I still like to level range defense on my backliners, so as you can see, even my archer has 31 defense, so, you know, even that guy, when he gets caught in melee by like an orc that charges through or something, he doesn't get one-shotted, because he's squishy. No, he still has very high defense and will be capable of holding his own in combat against 1, 4, maybe even 2, right? So he doesn't get, he's not immediately in danger if he gets jumped, which is very important for me. I like that. Yeah, and so for instance, this guy, right? You have 1-star melee skill with max roll, or with high roll. And you can see, by the way, I highly recommend the mod Show Potential. That shows the potential of the brothers if you level it up all the time, so you don't have to do the math in your head or the stuff. Also, all the information that I told you is on the Battle Brothers wiki. You can look that up for yourself. So this guy has like 82 expected melee skill, 31 melee defense. So he has good defense and he has a damage rate, huge, which is very interesting. Good hit points, average fatigue, okay resolve. So if I look at this brother, I see I don't have to fix resolve. Hit points are okay, so I can fix that with Colossus. I will get to a very good hit point pool. Huge gives us negative defense, but we still have positive defense and double star. So it's actually, we don't have to fix his defense. We can get to 31 defense with this trade. So this guy could potentially be a frontliner. Our fatigue is a little bit low, but is still enough, right? The only thing that keeps him a little bit back is the relatively low melee skill. So if we have like this like 80 to 85 melee skill, we might want to consider making him into, giving him a weapon that has additional hit chance. For instance, the two-handed sword has +5 chance to hit. Pole arms generally have additional chance to hit. This one has +5 chance to hit. Or for instance, we could make him into a one-handed sword guy. The one-handed sword attack has +10% chance to hit. The spear even has +20% chance to hit. So there are a bunch of options that we have with this bro. And the fact that we have additional damage from the huge trades means that I want to make him into a damage bro if possible. Because we also have good enough attack. Yeah, and these are the things I like to consider if I build, if I recruit, right? I primarily look for melee skill or range skill and melee defense. So these are my primary stats. If a brother has high stats in these categories and or high stars, usually you need high stats and high stars to get to a very high level of ranged attack and melee attack. Then we have a bro who is good enough to attack. Then we check his defense, and then we check his stats. Can we do anything with the stats? Is the hit points too low? Is the fatigue too low? Is the resolve too low? And usually you can fix these stats with Colossus for plus 25 hit points. You can go for 45 mind for plus 25 resolve. You can give a brother Brawny, which reduces the fatigue by minus 30%, which is really nice if you wear Battleforge armor. Or you can just make him nimble and give him very light gear, so he doesn't use a lot of his fatigue for his gear. Yeah, and that's generally how you build your bros. You build around weapon types, or that's kind of like the general sets you're looking for. And the next thing, I want to go in detail about how we build our bros depending on the weapons, right? If we found a brother like this, who is like good enough, interesting stats, if we found an interesting bro, now we can think to ourselves, what am I going to do with that bro, right? And what am I going to build him into? And that's is the thing that I will discuss in the next videos. I want to split that so it doesn't become too overwhelming for the newer players, right? And yeah, you will see this in the next videos. Yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please write it down in the comments below. I'll see you there. And yeah, have a nice day. Bye-bye.